The desert was endless. Golden sand stretched in every direction, moving like waves when the wind blew across the dunes. The sun burned with a heat that made the air shimmer, and not a single cloud offered shade. Among the rolling dunes stood a small group of people, their tents set up near a cluster of half-buried stones. The stones were carved long ago, and though most were worn down, some still showed strange markings. Amir stood at the edge of the dig site. He was a quiet man with steady hands and sharp eyes. His team trusted him, not only because he was careful but also because he carried respect for the desert. Amir believed the land always kept its secrets hidden until the right moment came. That morning, he felt something unusual in the air, as though the desert itself was waiting for them to uncover something important. His friend and fellow worker, Tarek, called out to him. "Amir, come quickly. We found something under the stones." Amir hurried over, his boots crunching on the sand. The workers had cleared away a large slab of rock and uncovered a doorway beneath it. The doorway was massive, its surface carved with symbols that glowed faintly in the sunlight. Unlike the usual hieroglyphs Amir had studied, these shapes looked sharper, cleaner, and stranger. Some curved like rivers, others shone like tiny stars. They almost looked alive, as if a hand far greater than human had made them. The workers stepped back, whispering nervously. One of them muttered, "This is the cursed chamber. The old people warned us never to search too deep. They said a pharaoh was buried here with a curse stronger than any army." Amir placed his hand on the stone door. It was warm, even though it had been buried under the sand for centuries. "This is no ordinary chamber," he said softly. His voice carried both curiosity and caution. "Look at the symbols. These are not of any pharaoh I know. These are older. Much older." Tarek frowned. "Then what is it? A temple? A tomb?" Amir shook his head. "I do not know. But I feel this is something different." The team gathered tools and began to clear the area around the door. It took hours. The sun climbed higher, and sweat rolled down their faces as they dug through the sand and stone. Slowly, the full frame of the doorway revealed itself. It was tall, taller than any man, and its sides curved upward like the arch of the sky. The carvings glowed faintly even when the sun began to set, as if light lived inside them. As the day turned to evening, the desert grew quiet. The wind stopped, and the air felt heavy. The workers hesitated to continue, uneasy with the strange silence. Amir, however, stood before the door, feeling both fear and excitement. He had searched for many ruins in his life, but this one felt unlike any he had ever seen. It felt alive. Tarek walked to his side and whispered, "Do you think we should open it? What if the curse is real?" Amir looked at the glowing symbols. "Every story of a curse begins with fear of the unknown. We should not run from it. We must learn what lies behind this door. If this is knowledge, then it belongs to us all. If it is danger, then at least we will know the truth." Night fell, and the team lit lamps around the chamber. The golden glow of the carvings shone brighter now, mixing with the lamplight and casting strange patterns across the sand. The door seemed to breathe, its surface pulsing faintly as though it waited for someone to touch it. The workers gathered, but none dared to step forward. Amir took a deep breath and placed both hands on the door. At first nothing happened. The stone felt smooth and warm under his palms. Then, slowly, a vibration ran through the ground. The carvings lit up brighter, one by one, as if his touch had awakened them. A low hum filled the air, and the sand around them trembled. The workers gasped in fear, and some stepped back, but Amir stood firm. The doorway split down the middle, and the heavy slabs began to slide apart. The sound was deep and powerful, like thunder hidden underground. Inside, a blinding golden light shone out, flooding the desert night with brilliance. The workers shielded their eyes. Tarek grabbed Amir's arm. "What have you done?" Look at this. It is not natural. Amir stared into the glowing chamber. His heart raced, but his voice was steady. We have opened something older than our world. This is not the curse of a pharaoh. This is something greater. Beyond the doorway lay a vast hall, its walls shimmering as if made from liquid gold. The light inside was not fire, nor sunlight, but something stranger, something that pulsed with energy. Strange shapes rested in the corners, half buried under sand and time. They looked like machines, though no machine Amir had ever seen before. Some gave off faint humming sounds, as if waiting to awaken. The air inside the chamber was cool, not hot like the desert outside. It smelled of metal and dust. Every step echoed like a drum beat, even though the floor looked soft and smooth. The workers refused to enter, whispering prayers under their breath, but Amir and Tarek stepped inside carefully. Amir knelt down and touched the floor. It was smooth like glass but warm like living skin. He stood and whispered, "This is not a tomb. This is something else. Something built by hands that were not ours." Tarek shivered. "Then who built it?" Amir looked up at the glowing ceiling, where more symbols moved like flowing rivers of light. His eyes widened as he realized they were not random carvings but patterns. Star maps. "Not who," he said slowly. "But what?" "This chamber was not built by men. It was built by something from the stars." The desert wind finally returned, howling outside the open doorway. The lamps flickered, and the golden chamber glowed even brighter, as if it welcomed its visitors at last. Amir stood tall, his heart pounding with both fear and wonder. The unearthed door was no longer just a discovery. It was an invitation. The desert night was silent, but inside the chamber the air hummed with strange energy. Amir stood at the doorway, staring into the glowing hall. The golden light reflected in his eyes, making them shine as though he carried fire inside. Behind him, the workers shifted nervously, whispering among themselves. Most of them were afraid to enter. They believed they had disturbed something dangerous, something that was never meant to be touched. Tarek stayed close to Amir. Though his face showed fear, his steps followed his friends. "This place is wrong," Tarek said softly. "It does not feel like stone or earth. It feels alive." Amir nodded. "Yes. But we must understand it. If we run now, this secret will be lost forever. Someone else will come one day and take it from us. Better that we learn what it is, and guard it for our people." The golden glow did not fade. Instead, it grew brighter, filling every corner of the chamber. The walls shimmered as if they were made of liquid, rippling when the light shifted. The floor stretched into a wide path, leading deeper into the hall where more shapes and shadows waited. Amir took a step forward. His boots made no sound on the smooth floor, but the walls responded with a soft pulse of light. The glow seemed to follow his movement, as though the chamber itself was watching him. Tarek hesitated but walked behind him, unable to leave his friend alone. At the entrance, the other workers refused to follow. One man raised his hand and called, "Amir, please. This is cursed. Leave it shut before it destroys us." Amir turned and looked at them. His voice was calm. "I cannot turn away. Something greater than gold or treasure is here. If you are afraid, you may wait outside. But I must go forward." The men stepped back, choosing the safety of the desert. Only Amir and Tarek remained inside the chamber. Together, they walked deeper into the hall. The further they went, the stranger the place became. The walls were lined with tall pillars, but these were not carved with familiar symbols of kings or gods. Instead, glowing patterns ran across them like rivers of fire, connecting one pillar to the next. Between the pillars stood objects that looked like machines. Some were tall and sharp like spears, others were wide and flat like shields. None of them moved, but faint hums came from within, like the sound of a heart beating beneath stone. Tarek reached out to touch one of the strange machines, but Amir stopped him. "Wait," he warned. "We do not know what these are." Before they could step closer, one of the walls rippled again. A new wave of light swept across the chamber, brighter than before. The patterns on the walls rearranged themselves, forming lines and shapes that Amir quickly realized were not random. They were maps, drawn in golden fire. He stared in awe. Stars. The patterns were stars. The walls displayed constellations, each glowing point connected with fine threads of light. It was a map of the sky, but not the sky they knew. This map showed places beyond Earth, far into the darkness of space. Amir whispered, "This is not Egyptian. This is not of any kingdom. This is knowledge from the stars." Tarek shook his head in disbelief. "You mean this was built by beings not of this world?" Amir did not answer. His mind was racing. The thought both frightened and thrilled him. If it were true, then this chamber was older than any pyramid, older than any pharaoh. It was a message left behind, waiting for those brave enough to find it. They moved deeper, drawn by the glow. At the end of the hall stood a raised platform. Upon it rested an object unlike anything they had seen. It was a tall structure shaped like an open lotus, its petals made of shining gold. The center pulsed with light, beating slowly like the heart of a giant. Amir felt his hands tremble as he climbed the platform. He reached out carefully and placed his fingers on the glowing surface. The moment he touched it, the chamber came alive. The hum grew louder, echoing through the walls. The golden patterns brightened until the hall was flooded with light. The machines that had been silent for centuries gave off soft vibrations. The air grew heavy, and a deep voice spoke from everywhere at once. It was not a human voice, but something vast and ancient. Its words were strange at first, but then, slowly, Amir understood them as though they were being translated inside his mind. "You have entered the chamber of the chosen," the voice said. "Long have we waited for your kind to return. Long have we kept the gift hidden." Tarek stepped back in fear. "Amir, do you hear it? It speaks to us." Amir's heart pounded. "Yes. It speaks to humanity." The lotus-like structure glowed brighter, and from its center rose a figure. It was not made of flesh, but of light and gold. The figure stood tall, its form shaped like a man but with no face, only smooth light. It looked both human and not human, as if it belonged to another world yet tried to resemble them. The workers outside saw the glow burst from the doorway and cried out in terror, refusing to enter. They fled into the desert, leaving Amir and Tarek alone with the golden figure. The figure spoke again, its voice steady and deep. "You stand where the Pharaoh once stood. He was chosen, long ago, to receive our knowledge. Yet he failed the trial. His greed was greater than his wisdom. And so we sealed the chamber, waiting for others who might come." Amir listened with wide eyes. "Why have you kept this hidden?" he asked. The golden figure raised its shining hand, and the walls displayed visions of the past. Great cities of stone rose and fell. Armies marched, kings ruled, and people worshipped. Yet above them, the stars always shone. "We gave your world a chance," the voice said. "We offered a gift of knowledge and power. But the ruler of that time sought to use it only for himself. He built monuments, he claimed himself a god, and he turned away from the path we offered. So we left this chamber locked, cursed in the stories of men, so none would dare enter until the time was right." Tarek whispered in fear, "Amir, this is too much. We should not be here." But Amir felt something stir within him. For years he had searched the desert for answers. Now, standing before this figure of gold, he felt the weight of destiny pressing upon him. The golden figure stretched its hand toward him. "You have opened the door. The trial begins again. Humanity will be judged. Will you prove yourselves worthy, or will you fall as those before you?" The chamber trembled. The doorway behind them slammed shut, sealing them inside. The golden light blazed brighter, filling every corner until nothing else could be seen. Amir knew there was no turning back. The desert's greatest secret had been revealed, and it was not treasure but a challenge. The trial of humanity had begun. Amir could feel the golden energy surrounding him like a living cloud. The chamber was no longer just walls of light. The air seemed to hum with thought, as if the very space around him was aware of his presence. Tarek stood close, his eyes wide with a mixture of awe and fear. He kept glancing at the glowing figure of gold, unsure if it was friend or foe. The figure remained still, its form shifting slightly as the light moved across it. Then, slowly, it spoke again. "You have touched the heart of the chamber. Now you will see the truth of your kind." Amir's heart beat faster. "What truth?" he asked. "We are humans. We have survived the desert, built cities, learned the stars. What do you want from us?" The golden figure raised its arms. The entire chamber shimmered and pulsed with light. Suddenly, the walls shifted, moving like waves of water. The floor beneath Amir and Tarek began to glow, showing symbols that seemed to tell a story. Stars, planets, and glowing lines moved across the floor, forming images of beings that were neither fully human nor fully machine. "These are the creators," the figure said. "Long ago, we walked among your kind. We taught the chosen rulers the ways of the stars. We shared knowledge of the universe, of machines that could harness energy, of ways to travel among worlds. But your ancestors misused this gift. They sought power for themselves, not wisdom." The chamber was sealed, waiting for those who could rise above greed and fear. Amir stepped closer, his fingers brushing the glowing lines on the floor. They pulsed under his touch, sending vibrations through his hands. "Then why us?" he asked. "Why now?" "Because time has returned," the figure replied. "The world grows ready once more. Your kind faces choices that could shape all life. The chamber calls to those who are brave, who are willing to understand, not simply to take." Tarek swallowed hard. "Amir, this is too much. I do not know if humans are ready for this." Amir shook his head. "We do not have a choice. We have stepped inside. Now we must see it through." The golden figure bent slightly, and from its chest came a soft light that grew into a glowing orb. It floated above the floor and expanded, filling the chamber with a golden haze. Inside the orb, images moved and shifted. Amir saw great cities of gold and silver, not built by human hands, but by machines that obeyed intelligence far beyond Earth. He saw ships gliding among stars, carrying humans and strange beings together. He saw worlds filled with life and knowledge, but also worlds destroyed by greed and ignorance. "This is the path you may follow," the figure said. "Or the path you may destroy." Amir felt a chill run through him. The vision was not a dream. It was real. He could almost feel the cold metal of the starships, hear the wind of other planets, smell the strange air of distant worlds. He turned to Tarek, whose face showed a mixture of fear and wonder. "What must we do?" Tarek asked. The golden figure stretched its hand toward them. "First, you must awaken. Humanity has strength hidden within. You will face trials that test your mind, your courage, and your heart. If you succeed, the knowledge of the stars will be yours. If you fail, you will leave the chamber empty-handed, and the gift will remain hidden forever." Amir nodded. He did not feel fear now. He felt determination. "Then we are ready," he said. The chamber pulsed again, and the golden light flowed across the floor to form two separate paths. Each path was filled with obstacles, shifting walls, and moving symbols. The figure explained, "Each path tests a different part of your being. One tests your wisdom and understanding. The other tests your courage and unity. You must succeed in both to awaken fully." Amir looked at the paths. They were unlike anything he had ever seen. The walls seemed alive, moving in ways that made it difficult to predict. The floor tiles shifted underfoot as if responding to thought. Light beams crossed in strange patterns, creating illusions that could confuse or frighten those who were not focused. Tarek hesitated. This is like a puzzle from another world. How can we know which path to take? Amir took a deep breath. We take them together. We trust each other. The figure said, it is not just wisdom or courage, but unity that matters. The golden figure extended both arms, and the chamber responded. Shapes rose from the floor, floating platforms, walls that rotated, and glowing symbols that needed to be touched in the correct order. The trials had begun. Amir led the way, stepping onto a platform that floated above a glowing pit. The floor shifted beneath them, forming a bridge that moved with their steps. Light patterns on the walls created illusions of falling, of walls closing in, of endless corridors. Tarek followed closely, keeping his hand on Amir's shoulder when fear threatened to shake him. You must focus, Amir said. Do not let your mind be fooled by what you see. The chamber tests not what is real, but what you believe. They reached a wall covered in glowing symbols. Each symbol needed to be pressed in a certain order. When Amir touched the first symbol, it pulsed and responded to his touch. Slowly, he traced the sequence he saw in the visions of the stars. The symbols lit up, one by one, creating a bridge of light to the next section. Tarek whispered, "This is incredible. I have never seen anything like this." Amir smiled faintly. We are seeing what humans are capable of, if we trust ourselves and each other. The golden figure watched silently as they progressed. Its light grew warmer, almost like a heartbeat in the chamber. As Amir and Tarek moved forward, the trials became more complex. Moving platforms shifted faster, illusions became more vivid, and the glowing symbols required greater focus. Yet with each success, Amir felt a new energy within him, a strength he had never known. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. The chamber did not tire them, and the golden light seemed to guide their steps. Finally, they reached the heart of the first trial, a massive door covered with flowing golden lines. It was not carved, not built, but alive with energy. Amir placed his hand on the door, and the golden figure spoke once more. You have awakened a part of yourselves, it said. The path continues, and the true awakening begins. Fear and doubt must be left behind. Courage and wisdom will guide you forward. Amir nodded, feeling the weight of the chamber's words. Tarek looked at him, understanding that the journey ahead was both a test and a gift. Together, they stepped through the door, leaving the first trial behind. As they entered the next chamber, the golden light surrounded them completely. They were no longer in the desert or on earth. The air was thick with energy, and the hum of the chamber became a melody of life. Amir knew then that the awakening was only beginning. They had touched the heart of the chamber. The golden figure had chosen them. Now, humanity's true trial had begun. Amir and Tarek stepped through the glowing door into a vast chamber unlike anything they had ever seen. The air shimmered with golden light, and the walls were alive with moving patterns. These were not simple shapes or stars. The walls displayed flowing symbols that seemed to communicate directly with their minds. The chamber pulsed like a living being, breathing with energy, waiting for the two men to act. The golden figure of light hovered in the center. Its form was now clearer, more defined, yet still glowing with energy. You have begun the awakening, the figure said. Now, you must prove your worth. The trials ahead are designed to test the very nature of humanity. Wisdom, courage, and trust will be examined. Only by passing these trials will you gain the knowledge meant for your kind. Amir looked around. The floor of the chamber shifted beneath their feet, forming three separate paths. Each path glowed with a different color, one red, one blue, and one green. Which path should we take? Tarek asked, his voice echoing in the immense space. Amir studied the paths carefully. The figure said unity is important. I think we take them together. Perhaps each path represents a part of the test. We must choose the one that tests both of us at the same time. They chose the blue path. The floor rippled and transformed, forming a bridge over a glowing abyss. Beneath them, streams of golden light moved like rivers of energy. The air grew heavier, and strange sounds echoed around them. Voices, whispers, and faint music seemed to rise from the walls, testing their focus. Tarek's hand shook slightly as he stepped forward. This is strange. It feels like the chamber is alive. Like it can read our thoughts. Amir nodded. That is exactly what it is. Focus on each step. Trust yourself. Trust me. The first challenge appeared in the form of floating orbs, each glowing with a different color. Symbols moved across their surfaces, changing constantly. The golden figure spoke again. The orbs test your wisdom. Only by choosing correctly will you move forward. Choose by understanding, not by guessing. Amir studied the orbs. He realized the symbols were patterns, and the patterns mirrored the constellations he had seen in the previous chamber. He traced them with his eyes, connecting stars in his mind. Slowly, he reached out and touched the first orb. It pulsed with bright light and then settled, confirming his choice. Tarek followed, matching Amir's intuition. Together, they touched each orb in sequence. The chamber responded by forming a pathway to the next challenge. The walls shifted, revealing another set of obstacles. This time, they faced illusions. The chamber created visions of their deepest fears. Amir saw the desert swallowing entire cities, waves of sand covering his home. Tarek saw fire consuming everything he loved, leaving only ash behind. The illusions were vivid, almost real. They reached out, and the images seemed to push them back, whispering that escape was impossible. Amir clenched his fists and spoke aloud. This is not real. These are tests. We must not let fear control us. Tarek took a deep breath. You are right. We must trust ourselves. The chamber is testing our courage. Hand in hand, they walked through the illusions, ignoring the whispers and shadows. The images attempted to trick their minds, but Amir focused on the golden figure above. He could feel its presence guiding them, reminding them that bravery was not the absence of fear but the choice to act despite it. When they emerged from the illusions, the floor beneath them opened, revealing a puzzle of golden tiles. Each tile contained a symbol, and stepping on the wrong one caused the floor to vanish temporarily. Amir realized that this test required both logic and trust. One misstep could separate them forever. Amir called out, Tarek, we must work together. I will step first, then you follow exactly where I step. Tarek nodded. I trust you. They carefully moved across the tiles. Each step was deliberate. The golden patterns glowed brighter when they chose correctly and dimmed slightly when they hesitated. Time seemed to stretch, but finally, they reached the other side. The chamber responded by forming a platform in the center, where a glowing pedestal awaited. Upon the pedestal rested a small crystal orb, shimmering with golden light. When Amir approached, the orb rose into the air and projected images of humanity's past. Great civilizations, acts of kindness, courage in the face of danger, and creativity in art and science all flashed before their eyes. The figure spoke again. This is your legacy. Humans are capable of both great destruction and great creation. The trials test whether you will use knowledge to serve, to protect, and to grow, or to dominate and destroy. The choice is yours. Amir looked at Tarek, understanding that this was more than a challenge. It was a lesson. The chamber did not simply test strength or intelligence. It tested the heart. It tested the ability to choose wisely when power was within reach. Amir stepped forward and touched the crystal orb. A surge of energy flowed through him. He saw visions of possible futures, worlds of light and harmony, and worlds of shadow and despair. He realized that the chamber was teaching them to think beyond themselves, to consider the consequences of every choice humanity could make. Tarek followed, feeling the power of the chamber. "I understand now," he whispered. "The trial is not just about surviving. It is about proving that humans can rise above fear and greed. That we can choose to be more than what we are now." The golden figure descended slightly, its light surrounding them. "You have passed the first trial," it said. "You have shown courage, wisdom, and unity. But remember, this is only the beginning. Greater challenges await. You must continue, for the knowledge of the stars is not granted lightly. It is earned by those who understand the responsibility it brings." The chamber shifted again. New paths opened, leading to higher platforms and deeper corridors. The air was filled with the soft hum of energy and the glow of golden light. Amir and Tarek took a moment to catch their breath. They knew that each step forward would test them further. Amir placed a hand on Tarek's shoulder. "We have come this far. Together, we can face whatever comes next. The chamber is testing us, yes, but it is also guiding us. We must trust it and trust ourselves." Tarek nodded, a renewed determination in his eyes. "Then let us continue. If this is the trial of humanity, we must prove that we are worthy." The golden figure watched them silently as they moved toward the next path. The chamber pulsed with approval, as if acknowledging their resolve. The trial of humanity had begun in earnest, and Amir and Tarek were ready to face whatever the chamber would place before them. The path ahead was unknown, filled with challenges that would push their minds, hearts, and courage to the limit. But they had each other, and that was the first lesson the chamber had taught them. Unity, trust, and bravery could overcome even the most impossible obstacles. As they stepped forward into the glowing corridor, the chamber seemed to breathe around them. The golden light grew warmer, and the hum of energy became a melody of life. They were no longer just explorers in the desert. They were participants in a trial that could change the destiny of humanity itself. The trial of humanity had begun, and the chamber waited to see if they would rise to the challenge. Amir and Tarek stepped forward into the next chamber. The air was cooler here, but it seemed heavier, as if each breath required effort. Golden light danced along the walls, forming shapes that twisted and shifted in ways that made it hard to tell what was real. The chamber was silent at first, but then whispers began to echo around them. These were not voices of the golden figure, but something else, something inside their minds. "Do you hear that?" Tarek asked, stopping in his tracks. Amir nodded. "Yes. Stay focused. The chamber is testing our minds now. We must not let fear take control." The walls began to shift. Solid surfaces melted into streams of golden light, and from them emerged visions that seemed almost real. Amir saw a desert storm rising, burying cities beneath sand. He felt the wind and the heat as if it were happening to him. He could hear cries for help, voices calling his name. Tarek was not spared. Shadows formed around him, showing his home in flames, people running in panic, and a river of fire flowing toward him. His hands shook as he tried to shield his eyes, but the visions kept coming. Amir grabbed Tarek's arm. "This is not real. The chamber is showing us illusions to test our courage. Keep moving forward. Trust me and trust yourself." Together, they walked into the illusions. Each step made the visions stronger. The desert sand swirled around Amir, almost pushing him backward. The flames around Tarek hissed and roared, trying to scare him into stopping. The chamber tested their resolve, trying to see if fear could control them. Amir closed his eyes for a moment and focused on the golden figure. He remembered its words about courage, wisdom, and unity. Slowly, he opened his eyes and saw the desert for what it really was, a creation of the chamber, not real. He stepped forward with confidence. Tarek followed, taking Amir's hand. I can feel it now, Tarek whispered. These illusions are powerful, but we can overcome them if we stay together. As they moved, the illusions began to change. The sandstorm melted away, replaced by walls that appeared endless. Each wall was covered in golden symbols that moved and twisted. They seemed to challenge Amir and Tarek to understand them. Amir realized that the symbols were not random. They were puzzles, testing their wisdom and attention. He reached out and touched one symbol, and it glowed brighter. Tarek touched another, and it responded. Together, they solved the puzzle, aligning the symbols in the order that made sense. When the final symbol clicked into place, the walls disappeared, leaving a clear path forward. Amir felt a rush of relief, but he knew the chamber was not finished with its tests. The next illusion was more personal. Amir saw himself trapped in a pit, unable to climb out. His friends and family were calling to him for help, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not reach them. He felt desperation and fear creeping into his heart. Tarek faced a vision of failure in his life. He saw himself losing the trust of everyone he cared about, watched by shadowy figures who whispered doubt and ridicule. He stumbled backward, almost giving in to despair. Amir grabbed Tarek's arm. Do not give up. These are illusions of fear. We control our choices, not them. We choose courage over fear. Slowly, they focused on the truth. The chamber could create visions of their worst fears, but it could not force them to act. Amir and Tarek stepped forward, ignoring the illusions and holding onto each other's strength. With each step, the visions faded. Finally, they reached a central platform where a pool of golden liquid shimmered. The pool reflected not their faces, but their inner thoughts. They saw not just fear, but hope, determination, and the strength that had brought them this far. The golden figure spoke, its voice calm and steady. You have faced the illusions and not fallen. Many have entered and been trapped by what they saw. Fear can destroy even the strongest of minds. But you have proven that humanity can rise above fear. Courage, trust, and unity guide your path. Amir and Tarek knelt beside the pool. They could feel energy rising from it, filling them with warmth and clarity. The visions that had tormented them were gone, replaced by a deep understanding. The chamber was teaching them not just to survive, but to grow stronger in mind and spirit. The golden figure hovered closer. Illusions are but one part of the trial. You must now face truths hidden within yourselves. Only by understanding your own strengths and weaknesses can you move forward. A new challenge appeared. The pool began to rise, forming steps that led upward. Each step reflected a memory from their lives, not of fear but of choice. Amir saw moments when he had acted with wisdom and kindness, and moments when he had doubted himself. Tarek saw times he had been brave and times he had allowed fear to control him. You must choose to accept all parts of yourselves, the figure said. Strength comes not from denying mistakes or fear, but from learning from them. Only then will the chamber allow you to continue. Amir and Tarek climbed the steps, reflecting on their lives and choices. Each step strengthened their resolve. They spoke to each other quietly, sharing thoughts and lessons they had learned. The golden light seemed to respond, pulsing in rhythm with their hearts. When they reached the top, the chamber opened into a vast space filled with golden energy. The walls no longer twisted with illusions. Instead, stars appeared above them, mapping a sky they had never seen before. The chamber had transformed, showing them the beauty and potential of humanity when fear and doubt were overcome. You have passed the chamber of illusions, the golden figure said. You have faced your deepest fears and not been broken. You have proven that humans are capable of courage, understanding, and growth. The path ahead will test you further, but you now carry the strength to face it. Amir and Tarek looked around, amazed at the transformation. The chamber had challenged them not only with fear but also with understanding. They had learned that true courage was not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. Amir turned to Tarek. We have come this far. The chamber has tested our hearts, our minds, and our trust in each other. We must continue. Greater trials await, but we are ready. Tarek nodded, feeling a newfound confidence. Yes. Whatever comes next, we face it together. The chamber has shown us what humans are capable of. The golden figure extended its arms, and a new passage opened. Light flowed from it, inviting them forward. Amir and Tarek stepped toward the passage, ready to continue the journey that would test their humanity to its fullest. The Chamber of Illusions had been conquered, and they had learned its lesson. The next trials awaited, and with courage, wisdom, and unity, they would face whatever challenges the chamber placed before them. The golden light guided them onward, deeper into the mysteries that lay hidden within the ancient chamber. Amir and Tarek stepped through the passage, leaving the Chamber of Illusions behind. The golden light from the walls guided them like a river flowing toward an unknown destination. Unlike the previous chambers, this corridor felt calm. There was no hum of machines, no whisper of illusions. The air was clear, and each step felt deliberate, as if the chamber itself had paused to allow them to prepare for what lay ahead. The illusions are behind us, Tarek said softly. I thought nothing could scare me after that, but now I feel anticipation. Amir nodded. Yes. The chamber does not frighten us here. It wants us to see clearly. What comes next is the truth that has been hidden for centuries. The corridor widened, leading to a massive hall. Unlike the golden shimmer of the previous rooms, this chamber's walls were a mixture of polished stone and metallic panels. Strange symbols were etched deeply into the surfaces, glowing faintly as if acknowledging their presence. In the center of the hall was a platform surrounded by a circular pool of liquid gold. Floating above it was a large crystal orb, brighter than anything they had seen before. The golden figure appeared again, its light surrounding the orb. This is the heart of the chamber, it said. Here lies the knowledge of your ancestors and the truths kept hidden from humanity. What you see here will reveal both the greatness and the mistakes of your kind. Amir stepped closer to the orb, his reflection shimmering on its surface. He could see images inside, moving slowly, as if the crystal were alive. Cities rose and fell, people worked together and fought against each other. There were inventions, discoveries, and acts of kindness, but also wars, greed, and destruction. Every image seemed to pulse with meaning. Tarek whispered, these are visions of history. But they feel deeper. Like the chamber wants us to understand something. Yes, Amir said. The golden figure said this knowledge is a gift. It is not treasure. It is understanding. We must see the patterns, not just the events. The orb shifted, showing a vision of the stars above Earth. Planets moved in perfect harmony, and energy flowed through the cosmos like rivers of light. Then the image zoomed down to Earth, showing humans building, creating, and learning. And then, a shadow appeared, representing choices made for selfish gain. Cities crumbled, forests burned, and civilizations failed. Amir felt a weight in his chest. The chamber is showing us what humans are capable of, he said. Not just the good, but the harm we can cause when we choose poorly. The golden figure spoke, its voice calm but firm. This chamber holds the hidden truth. Humans were given knowledge long ago, far beyond the tools of your early civilizations. Some were wise and used it to benefit others. Some sought only power and control. The chamber was created to protect the gift from being misused. Now it is time for you to understand what was left behind. Amir and Tarek walked around the orb, watching visions of ancient technology. Machines that could harness energy from the stars. Ships that could travel to other worlds. Tools that could heal or destroy, depending on the hands that held them. It was knowledge far beyond anything humans had now. Tarek's eyes widened. This is incredible. Why did no one know about this? Because the gift was hidden, Amir said. Those who misused it were stopped, and the chamber was sealed. Only those who prove themselves worthy can learn what was left behind. The orb projected another vision. A figure appeared, not human, made of shimmering light. It guided humans in the past, teaching them how to build, think, and explore. But the vision also showed humans taking the gift for selfish purposes, fighting each other, and abandoning the lessons of the teacher. This is the warning, the golden figure said. Knowledge without wisdom can destroy. Power without responsibility can corrupt. The chamber now offers you a choice: take what is here and guide humanity toward understanding, or leave it and allow it to remain hidden until another is ready. Amir and Tarek exchanged glances. They understood the responsibility. The chamber was not simply a challenge, it was a test of judgment. Amir approached the crystal orb. Light flowed from it into his hands, filling him with warmth and clarity. He could see solutions to problems humanity had not yet solved. He could see ways to bring energy to cities, clean water to deserts, and knowledge to those who lacked it. He felt the power and the weight of it. Tarek stepped forward, feeling the same energy. This is more than knowledge, he said. It is a responsibility. If we take it, we must guide humanity wisely. Yes, Amir agreed. The chamber will not give this gift lightly. We have faced fear, illusions, and trials. Now we must prove we can use what we learn for the good of all, not ourselves. The golden figure extended its arms, and the chamber responded. Symbols on the walls shifted to form a glowing pathway, leading to a set of doors at the far end. These doors lead to the final test, the figure said. Not of courage or strength, but of choice. Decide wisely, and the chamber's hidden truth will become part of humanity's path. Amir and Tarek approached the doors. Each door had a symbol above it. One represented creation and guidance, the other destruction and control. They understood instantly, the chamber was asking them to choose how they would use the knowledge it offered. Amir looked at Tarek. We know what we must do. We will take this knowledge to help others, to guide humanity wisely. Not for wealth, not for power, but to create a better future. Tarek nodded. Then let us open the door of creation. Together. They pressed their hands against the glowing symbol of creation. The chamber responded immediately. The doors opened, revealing a room filled with golden energy, floating symbols, and tools of knowledge. The air was alive with possibility. Amir and Tarek could feel the chamber's blessing. They had proven themselves worthy. The golden figure spoke one last time. You have seen the hidden truth. You have faced the past, understood the present, and chosen a path for the future. Humanity has been given a gift, not as a reward, but as a responsibility. Use it wisely, and your kind may reach the stars. Amir and Tarek stepped into the room. The golden light surrounded them completely, filling their minds with understanding. They could see solutions to hunger, disease, and energy. They could see ways to explore the stars responsibly, to teach and guide others. It was overwhelming, but not frightening. They were ready. Tarek looked at Amir. We have been given a chance to change everything. To guide humanity towards something greater. Amir smiled. Yes. This is the purpose of the chamber. Not gold, not power, but understanding. Now it is up to us to make sure this knowledge is used well. The chamber hummed softly, as if satisfied. The golden figure faded, leaving only the glowing orb and the tools of knowledge behind. The hidden truth was no longer hidden. Humanity's path was in their hands. Amir and Tarek took a deep breath. They had faced illusions, trials, and fear. They had seen the mistakes of the past and chosen a path of creation and guidance. The chamber had revealed its deepest secret, and with it, a new chapter for humanity had begun. They stepped forward into the room, ready to learn, ready to understand, and ready to carry the hidden truth to the world beyond the desert. The chamber had fulfilled its purpose. The hidden truth was now theirs. Amir and Tarek stood in the final chamber, surrounded by the golden light of knowledge. The air shimmered with energy, and every symbol, every tool, every vision seemed to hum with possibility. They had faced fear, illusions, and the trials of the chamber. They had seen humanity's past, understood its mistakes, and felt the weight of responsibility that came with the knowledge hidden for centuries. The golden figure appeared one last time, hovering above the glowing orb at the center. Its light was brighter than ever, as if the chamber itself had gathered all its power to guide them toward this moment. "You have proven yourselves worthy," the figure said. "You have faced courage, wisdom, and unity. You have understood the hidden truth. Now, you must make the final choice. The chamber offers you knowledge that can transform humanity. How you use it will decide the path of your world for generations." Amir took a deep breath, feeling the energy of the chamber flow through him. He could see visions of the future, possibilities unfolding like threads in a vast tapestry. Cities powered by clean energy, oceans restored to life, deserts blooming with crops. Humans working together, exploring the stars, learning from other civilizations, creating a world of understanding and peace. But he also saw darker visions, greed consuming nations, technology used to harm and control, wars spreading across continents, people suffering from hunger and injustice. The chamber had shown him both the light and the shadow of humanity. Tarek stepped forward, his voice steady but filled with awe. "This is more than we ever imagined. We could change everything. But with this power comes responsibility. If we choose wrong, the chamber's gift could be lost to destruction." Amir nodded. "Yes. We cannot take this lightly. The chamber has tested us for a reason. It is not gold, not treasure, but knowledge and understanding. We must use it wisely." The golden figure extended its arms, and the orb floated higher, projecting a new vision. A path split into two, one glowing bright with golden light, the other dark with shadows. The figure spoke clearly, each word resonating in the minds of the two men. "One path grants knowledge and guidance to uplift humanity. It requires patience, wisdom, and courage to teach others what you have learned. The other path grants power and control, a way to dominate and reshape the world as you wish. Choose wisely, for your decision will shape generations." Amir and Tarek looked at each other. They did not need to speak. They understood the meaning. One path could bring hope, learning, and cooperation. The other could bring dominance, fear, and conflict. Their hearts were filled with determination. Amir placed his hand on the orb. Golden light surged through him, filling him with warmth and clarity. He could feel the potential of humanity, the strength in kindness, creativity, and courage. "We cannot choose power," he said. "The chamber showed us why. We must choose the path of guidance. To help humanity grow, not to control it." Tarek stepped beside him and placed his hand on the orb as well. The light pulsed at their touch, responding to their choice. "Together," Tarek said. "We must use this knowledge to teach, to guide, and to protect. We cannot let it fall into the wrong hands." The golden figure nodded, its light expanding to fill the chamber. "You have chosen wisely. Humanity's future is now in your hands. Use the knowledge to heal, to create, and to explore. Lead with courage and wisdom. Teach those who are willing to learn. Protect the world and the knowledge you have gained." Suddenly, the chamber began to shift. The walls moved like waves of light, forming a new pathway. The golden orb lowered, and symbols floated around it, showing instructions and guidance for the humans who would follow. Machines, technology, and tools of the stars were revealed, not as weapons, but as instruments of learning and growth. Amir and Tarek studied the symbols. They realized that this knowledge could transform agriculture, energy, medicine, and space exploration. They could bring water to deserts, energy to cities, and health to those who were sick. But the chamber had also taught them that knowledge without wisdom could destroy, so they needed to guide humanity carefully. Tarek looked at Amir. We have everything we need to help humanity. But we must be careful. Not everyone will understand at first. Some may fear the change. Amir nodded. Yes. We must start slowly, teach those who are willing, and lead by example. The chamber has given us the knowledge, but humanity's growth depends on patience, courage, and understanding. The golden figure's light began to fade, its form becoming less distinct. I will leave you now, it said. The trials are complete, and the choice has been made. Humanity's path is in your hands. Remember the lessons of courage, unity, and wisdom. Teach, guide, and protect. Only then will the knowledge fulfill its purpose. Amir and Tarek watched as the figure disappeared, leaving the chamber bathed in golden light. The energy from the orb flowed into their minds, filling them with understanding and clarity. Every puzzle they had solved, every fear they had overcome, every choice they had made brought them to this moment. They were ready. Amir turned to Tarek. We have been given a gift that can change the world. We must use it well. The chamber trusted us because we faced fear, understood our past, and chose wisely. Now it is our responsibility. Tarek nodded. Yes. We must help humanity rise, not fall. We must teach, explore, and guide. The stars are waiting, and so is our world. They left the chamber together, stepping back into the desert. The sun was rising, painting the sands with golden light that mirrored the chamber they had left behind. It was as if the desert itself acknowledged their choice. They carried no gold or treasure, only knowledge and understanding. But they knew this was far more valuable than anything else. Amir looked around the desert and took a deep breath. This is just the beginning. The world will not change overnight, but we can start. We can share what we have learned, and help humanity grow stronger, wiser, and kinder. Tarek smiled. And we will do it together. The chamber has given us hope, and now it is our task to spread it. As they walked across the dunes, the golden light of the chamber faded behind them. But the lessons, the trials, and the hidden truth would remain within them forever. They were no longer just explorers, they were guardians of knowledge, chosen to guide humanity toward a future of courage, understanding, and unity. The choice had been made. Humanity's destiny was in their hands, and Amir and Tarek were ready to lead the way. The desert stretched before them, endless and full of possibilities. The sun rose higher, and the golden light reflected their resolve. They carried the hidden truth of the chamber, the lessons of courage and wisdom, and the knowledge of the stars. With every step, they moved toward a future where humanity could rise above fear, greed, and ignorance, embracing the greatness within themselves. The chamber had tested them. The illusions had challenged them. The hidden truth had been revealed. And now, the final choice had been made. Humanity's future was theirs to shape, and the world would never be the same. Amir and Tarek walked forward into the dawn, ready to share what they had learned and to guide humanity toward the stars.